In this video, I'll be going over what commingled versus non-commingled is on Amazon FBA when you are prepping your units and sending them into Amazon. To begin this video, I just want to quickly go over where you can actually go to actually turn this on or off. So what you will want to do is make sure you're inside your Amazon Seller Essential selling account, and then you want to go to the top right. You want to hit the little settings icon, the drop down, and then when you are there, you're going to want to make sure you hit fulfilled by Amazon. Then when you get onto the screen of a bunch of different settings, the next thing you then will want to do is scroll all the way down to nearly the bottom, and you will see something that says FBA product barcode. And now when you click on that to edit it, you want to make sure that you click on the manufacturer barcode, because that way you can actually just send units in without actually having to put your SKU onto each individual item. Now, if you want to make sure that every unit you send in needs your barcode, then you put the Amazon barcode. So basically, commingled means you can use manufacturer already barcodes on the product, the universal. And when it comes to the Amazon one, that basically is just going to be your barcode. So commingled is that, and then just your Amazon attached to your store is that one. So now that you just understand how to change this setting, what it actually is, because I'm sure some of you guys have went through like 2D workflow or Amazon's workflow, and you saw that it said something like commingled, and then if you actually turn this off, it doesn't even mention commingled at all. So if you do ever see this and you're a beginner, it's very tricky. You're not going to understand it. Basically, you just don't have to skew the product to your literal like Amazon SKU. So now to get into the pros and cons to this, just so you guys can understand what is best for you, because no one on YouTube ever talks about this, and honestly it was a big headache at first for us that we didn't understand. And of course, as you scale and you get larger and larger operations, you start to understand what you actually need to do moving forward, or what might best fit your company. So basically, when it comes to commingled, you're going to save money in the warehouse. It's going to be a lot faster, and at the end of the day, you will be able to save money on boxes, because you can send them out in boxes if you're doing pallets. So there's so much money that will be saved doing this long term and at a high scale. Now, the reason why I'm going to say that if you're doing this at a low scale to not do commingled is because every penny literally matters when you're trying to scale up your store, and you want to make sure that every product you send in matches your store. You don't want to lose inventory. So it just, if you're a beginner or you're someone doing OA or not doing wholesale and high scale, you probably most likely want to just stick with not commingled if you're prepping these units yourself, if you're able to. But once you get to the point where you need employees, you might want to start thinking about doing commingled. Now, the cons to doing this is actually to some extent pretty high, but it all depends on what type of products you do sell also. So if you're someone who's selling big electronics, if you're selling shoes, if you're just selling things with high returns, then maybe no matter what scale you're at, you don't want to do this, because you're going to lose a lot of money to inventory. Like if you're doing clothes, you maybe don't want to do this. But if you're doing we are mainly general merchandise, you're going to want to commingle if you're doing on a high scale, because the returns are not going to be as bad, and not too many people are sending in bad units to the commingled. So not every product, by the way, that you list on will have a commingled option, but a majority of them will. And for an example, right, let's just say I send in this plant, right, and we're able to commingle this. If I send this in, someone else who is commingling can also send in the same product, but they can send in a used one that the box is broken. There's gonna be people out there that do commingled, so they can send in refurbished stuff. It's kind of a tough thing, but at the end of the day, there will be people that do that. So this will lead to higher returns, and that can end up losing you money. But like I said, if you're doing general merchandise, the returns are pretty rare, and also no one's going to send in half a bottle of liquids, for an example, because that's probably going to eventually get their account restricted, and it's just something you just don't obviously want to do. But there will be people that will do it, and they'll kind of be shady about it. So I do recommend, if you are doing general merchandise, still do that. But if you're doing high ticket electronics, I probably would not want to do it then, strictly because one return could cost you $100, $200, $300, $400. For an example, the first time we were going through this problem, and the reason why we switched off of it is because we sent in $1,000 camera lens. We bought it for $800, but it's a camera lens, a very nice one, big one. It can break easily, fragile. We send it in. It was on Commingled. We get a sale. We get a return, and when we got the item in, it was an item that was not the one we sent in, and it was not even close to the product. And on top of that, the box was destroyed. There's labels all over it. You can tell that someone just threw this product in. So it was a nightmare. We lost a lot of money, and this is not something I recommend you do if you're doing high ticket items. But once you change this on your account in the settings, there's kind of no flip-flop to it. You do kind of have to decide for like months what one you want to do, because you're not going to put 5 products in then take it off. It's just too much work. So I do recommend, depending on what you're selling and how big your team is, you need to really start breaking down your costs and understanding what would be better to commingle or to not use commingling. But just keep in mind all the risks that are involved with this from either side, whether it's good or bad. You will get returns no matter what you do on Amazon, but if you're doing general merchandise, you're in a better situation than you think to do commingled. Overall, I hope this video helped you guys out. I really want you guys to understand what commingled versus non-commingled is, and to quickly recap, commingled just basically means you don't have to skew it to your like actual Amazon store. You can just send it in, and then on the buy box, whatever price you have, you sell it at, that's your profit. And then with Amazon barcodes, which is not commingled, you literally have to skew every single product. Now, also, by the way, to mention, if you are doing commingled and you have to polybag something, or you get a 2-pack something, then you are going to obviously have to make sure you skew that to your store. So if you're doing commingled, you can still actually skew every item if you want to. It's just obviously a waste of time and something you obviously don't want to do if you're afraid to get, you know, a lot of returns on expensive items. But either way, I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.